This is a presentation on Alan Duff, created by Tesfahun, Jay, myself, Samantha, and Malachy. We will be discussing Alan Duff's achievements, his life, his books that he's created, and also his challenges in life. Alan Duff was born 26th of October 1950 in a small town in Rotorua. He was the son of scientist Gowan Duff and a Ngāti Rangitahi Turu Wharetoa descendant of Kuia Hino. In 1960, Duff's parents separated and divorced. Due to the separation, Duff therefore had to transition to another home city, living with his aunt and uncle on his mother's side. Duff therefore lived in a rebellious lifestyle until he moved to his Uncle Roger Duff's home in his late teen years to Christchurch. Due to the different upbringings of how his Uncle Roger lived his life, Duff started to change his mindset and his way of living. In 1970s, Duff also moved to London after working as a sheet metal installation installer and singing in a band for a spell. Since 1985, Duff has been a freelance writer and a columnist for several newspapers. His writings are frequently marked by harsh and often contentious criticism of New Zealand politics. Duff's extensive opera depicts the modern life of his country's native population.
Alan Duff was the first choice of person to research for many in our group. We soon discovered his works and the conversations and controversies that occurred following them. Duff's seamless ability to transform the reader into a story whilst reaching from some of his own experiences is intriguing. Once We're Warriors sparked conversations about domestic abuse in New Zealand and the accessibility or lack thereof of books and learning tools in Kiwi homes. Alan was always certain of his opinions and never deterred away from the beliefs he held. This is extremely admirable, considering it would be easy to shy away from the controversies. Through his novels, newspaper, articles and interviews, Duff used his own experiences as well as his knowledge of Māori history and New Zealand current affairs to educate his readers on real-life situations. Duff's love of books and reading eventually drew him to creating the much-loved and cherished Duffy Books and Homes scheme. His aim was to attempt to break the vicious cycles of anger, poverty, and illiteracy through making books readily available and free. In its first year alone, the scheme delivered upwards of 180,000 books to children for free, and currently that number has surpassed 14 million across New Zealand and Australia. He took his passion for books and his deep desire to assist in the breaking of these cycles and creating something amazing for young Kiwis. In recent days, Duff has continued to contribute to New Zealand media with his articles and his new book in 2019, A Conversation with My Country. What is certain is the influence he has had on Māori and Pākehā in New Zealand and the undeniable talent he has.
Duff had many amazing achievements. His first book, Once We're a Warrior in 1990, had an instant great success. The book later was the winner of the PIN Best Fiction, and the book also had the second place. Another book, The One Night Out Stealing in 1992, was another achievement and was awarded the Bottle Findlay Surgeon Fellowship. Duff also began writing a weekly column for Evening in 1993. A further achievement was the State Word, which started as a series of episodes on radio in 1993 and was later printed as a book in 1994. What Becomes of the Broken Heart has received the Montana Fiction Book of the Year award at 1997. The book also was later made into film in 1999.
Alan Duff released his first book, Once We're Warriors, in 1990. Although this book was fiction, it had a lot of parallels to his upbringing. Once We're Warriors tells the story of a young Māori girl named Beth who leaves her rural New Zealand town and gets married, only to live a life of poverty and discontent. From the success of his first novel, he then went on to release One Night Out Stealing in 1992. One Night Out Stealing tells the story of two convicts and the mischief they make, one man white and the other Māori. What Becomes of the Broken Hearted was the second installment to Once Were Warriors. This book did not receive the same success, and critics believed that it did not portray Māori well. Jake's Long Shadow, 2002, was the final installment. Critics believed that this one should never have been released and centered more around Beth's partner, Jake, and the loss of their child. In 2019, Alan Duff went out and released A Conversation with My Country. This was an autobiography which took a look at his challenging childhood, adolescent years, and as well as the systemic struggles faced by the Māori people in New Zealand. This book received high praise reviews from well-established critics. Below, we have linked our Facebook and YouTube page. Thank you for listening to our presentation.